Okay. Thank you, those who shared. Okay, let's come to our individual assignment, and we're good to go. You can ask questions even later on when you start working tomorrow. Please, no messages on weekends, right? We remember you get rest, I get time for my family and my kids. On Monday, you can send me during working hours if you want to clarify something. We also will meet on Tuesday in class. You can ask questions if you still have. You will need to submit it next Thursday, midnight, right? If you remember, after 11:59. We're turning into Cinderellas, so don't be late. We don't have OGL next week, right? No online class on Thursday, but I will be again available on Teams if you have questions. So individual assignment, the first graded assignment, right? It's 25% of your grade. It's huge. So therefore it's important, but at the same time, it's quite easy because the case that you will be analyzing, and it's about individual case analysis, applying the strategic position framework, right? The first bubble, right? Strategic position. The first bubble, that frameworks that we have covered today, and in the first weeks, so the first 3 weeks of our course is about that first bubble about strategic positioning. So the case that you will be using for applying this strategic positioning, which means applying those 5 bubbles, smaller bubbles that we covered today, will be you, right? So you are the content that you know the best, right? You know about your own context, your own industry, you know about how you perceive your macro environment, like pestle, which one affects you most, how it affects, who are your stakeholders. Also individual, like each of you have a list of stakeholders. Some of them are important, some of them are less important, etc. So you do matrix mapping, right? You have your own culture, which is your beliefs, your routine, your values. So your goal is to apply this positioning, right? Not to the company for now. If you remember, I said that in the beginning of this class today, that how it is important for your strategic thinking when you can play with those tools and concepts and frameworks, not only in the business environment, business context, or organizational context, but have a kind of ability to apply it to your personal, professional context, right? And when we say this about you, individual, it's about your professional, of course, right? Not personal part, right? So not about your personal life, family life, relationship. They are also important part of your personality, of course, of your context, but we here focus mainly on your professional domain. So you can read the instructions later on, but I want to see your storytelling, your analytical thinking, how you apply those different frameworks. And I believe the value for me in this particular assignment, not just only to see, like I could give you a boring essay to write about the strategic positioning or give some kind of big companies, Tim Hortons, and do strategic positioning that you will do search online and then use ChatGPT to write, blah, 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 right? So we know how it works, which is also might be a kind of a learning. But here, I really want this assignment to have a value for you, to build some sort of foundation for your own strategy, for your own professional strategy after graduation, especially like considering that it's your last term, right? So to do strategic analysis of yourself. So treat yourself as a company, like in a way, say, right? So Prabjot Incorporated, or Itsuki Holding, right? Or ARM Limited. So you're a company, right? As a professional, like you have your own resources, you have your own capabilities, your industry specific again. So I want you to create this strategic playbook. And strategic playbook here is I don't know if you have come ever with the term or concept of playbook, strategic playbook, strategy playbook. Sometimes it can be called. Have you seen any playbook, or have you heard of this before?
For me, yes, Professor. I
Yeah,
heard
what it
about like
is?
a mark.
Go ahead. Sorry. Hello?
Hello,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, for me, I what I read is the marketing playbook. So
Mhm.
it actually lists down all the basics and things to do and things to learn in order to be successful, but at least in marketing.
Yeah.
So I think it applies the same for strategic playbook.
Right, right, exactly. So, thank you so much. Strategic Playbook is sort of a clear, actionable guide that outlines how a company will achieve their goals using the kind of their strategies, decisions, and capabilities and resources, right? So think of it like a sports playbook when it defines how the team will win, under what different conditions, with, with the resources they have. So you will be creating a sort of a playbook for yourself, right? So in order to get ready for the current volatile economic environment that we have, very tough job market that we have here. So I believe it somehow will help you also to better understand who you are as a professional in the current context, right? So I want you to have this personalized practical guide that captures how you understand and apply strategic thinking, but it's not a business plan. So please critically evaluate, try to really understand the difference, like what strategic playbook is, right? So it will be a structured kind of what we call plays, different nodes, if you will. And it will, for me, it will reflect your understanding. It should show your understanding of this, our strategic position framework, that first bubble, and your ability to apply, but to the content that you know best yourself. And this way, it's also, for me, is a good way to learn a bit more about yourself, right? So I put it kind of those play. So read this instruction. I don't want to be reading it from the screen for you. Process it, reflect on that. And as I said, you can come back if you have questions. So I put some kind of those plays or some sort of outline this what the structure should be like, what components should be. So start with your own reflection, right? How you understand what strategy is and how strategy matters. You already did that in class, if you remember, in our very first class, you shared your definition of strategy, why, how you connect, like who you are as a strategist. And those 5 strategic plays based on those 5 bubbles that we discussed today: macro environment, industry or field context or niche context, resources and capabilities, your VRIO, your personal VRIO, your stakeholders, and the culture, right? The role of culture. So for each element, I put up kind of, again, in each play, I want you to have some visual elements, not just plain text. It could be hand-drawn mind maps. It could be a photo of that actually related to that play, to that part. Some narrative, right? Some reflection as well would help. If you use AI, which is fine, I want kind of you to reflect on that, how AI played the role in there. On Tuesday, we will be discussing that article, and you still have your team discussions. If you remember, we will start with those presentations, and we will focus on AI and AI's role in strategy. So, and this part is a bit also connected to that. So on Tuesday, try also to explore not only what your team did, listen to others, right? That also will help you, will give some unique insights that you can incorporate in your playbook. I want you to end up with your positioning statement. It's like your pitch, right? Who you are as a strategist and where you are heading. And again, it's not just summary of what you've covered. It's not a conclusion type of thing. It's more of that strategic positioning, like who you are, again, as a strategist, as a professional with strategic thinking. And some of the rules that what we call strategists code that you've sort of would be using forward looking, right? It's like for yourself, for your future self, right? So I've shared there what you should submit. It should be PDF. I will be cutting the grade for Word documents because every time those who share their Word, they are distorted, some of the graphs, and it kind of demands a lot of time for me to understand where's the beginning of the table, where's the end. It's sometimes get distorted. So it should be as a PDF. You can do some digital slides, Canva, PowerPoint, some of the other that you share online. So you make sure that it's just in place and I can download it, right? So it should be downloadable for me because I mean, sometimes I travel. I might not always have an internet connection, so I would be downloading and then reading your work for grading. So I would appreciate it if, even if it's a digital presentation, that I should be able to download it. Use different visuals to communicate your ideas. No need for APA. Please, no questions about APA. I mean, there is no penalty if you use APA. You are okay. If you have already a habit of using APA, that's okay. I just want citations, right? If you use some resources, some ideas that are not yours, please just reference them. Try not to use generative AI to write any section except for the AI reflection. And there are some kind of, I explain here about that, the role of AI for you as a strategist or for your industry. And the minimum
Professor, I had
structure.
a question.
Let me
That this
finish.
AI.
Let me finish. Okay, thank you. So the minimum structure is here: cover page, introduction, 5 plays, AI reflection, position statement, and strategist code. So basic, it's minimum, but if you feel like you want to add some extra paragraph about something that you feel it should be, you're very welcome. So there is no penalty for a bit of, swaying away from this structure. So it's not kind of a must-have only. Like it's a minimum, but if you have some additional parts, you're very welcome. Also, here is the grading rubric. You can read it. If anything is not clear, let me know. Finally, favorite question, how long it should be. I don't have strict limitations like, again, no penalty. I don't grade you for the number of words or for how many pages. But obviously, it should be manageable. Like it shouldn't be 30 pages that I will spend 2 days reading, right? So, and it shouldn't be too long. Like we are talking about business communication. So the playbooks, the averages, it depends, of course. For some industries might be longer, depending what you want to include. But here, approximately, again, it depends on how many pages you want, like 5 up to 10 in between. I'm okay with that. Again, not 30, not 50, right? So think of your user, of your reader. And deadline next Thursday, midnight. Now, please, questions. Go ahead. Was the asking?
Professor, is it mandatory to give the AI reflection in the paper?
Yes. So on Tuesday, we will talk about AI because AI is already part of our life, uh, regardless whether we like it or not. So I want to, and based again on our discussion on Tuesday, I want you to reflect on, in this strategic positioning of yourself, what's the role of AI, right? So your reflection on AI, particularly in your context. It could be your industry context, it could be your daily context, it could be your professional development context. So more of like the role of AI, I want to know your personal opinion. Like Google and AI has everything, but not your view, not your experience, not your unique ideas. And this is what I'm looking for, not something that AI generates. But I want you to be reflecting on AI.
Okay, Professor. And we would be able to see this document in the Brightspace as well in the assignment section?
It's already visible to you.
Okay, thank you, Professor.
You're very welcome. Any other questions? Please go ahead. You can put in the chat or unmute and speak up. Those who have a next class, please, or need to leave, please leave. Feel free to leave. I'll be here for another maybe 5 minutes for those who might have still questions. Otherwise, class is over. Class is dismissed. So enjoy the rest of your day. Good luck with the assignment. I think, and thank you, Arn. I think it's exciting. I think it's always exciting to learn about ourselves, right? The reason we read different horoscopes, we take different tests, we try to find different archetypes, different personality tests to get to know ourselves. And I see the value in it when my students, before they graduate, they have this sort of a playbook for themselves to get to know where they are at in their industry, in their context, in their professional kind of career, right? To have that kind of a mirror to look into and see, okay, here's my capabilities, here's my resources. It shouldn't be a shiny 5-star kind of perfect profile of yourself. Be honest, right? I'm not grading you for how wonderful you are or not. I will be looking into your thinking, into your delivery, into your analysis of your strategic positioning, right? Questions, comments?
Professor,
Yes, please.
uh, Professor, we have another assignment which is due on Thursday as well. I mean, the next Thursday, which is like client profile analysis. So based on the last class, we have an interaction with the client, right? So based on the conversation, we have to make a report like the main key takeaways, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, so the teamwork assignment is not graded, right? So it's more, even that deadline is quite flexible. Like it's like if you don't submit it on that day, it's okay. It's more of a reminder. I think I mentioned that in class. So those deadlines about your teamwork that you will be submitting in your final team portfolio at the end of the course, those deadlines are more of a reminder that you should be focusing on that, because client profile, you just met him and now he will be coming, he said, every week. Let's see how it goes. So every time you get more information, you can add and update that team profile. So if, let's say, by Thursday, because I know you have other 2 classes, other assignments, other exams happening. So if you don't submit it by Thursday, your teamwork, that client profile, that's okay. I mean, you can do it over a weekend. I'm not strict about those deadlines. And I already mentioned in class, please don't keep asking me that question. So all teamwork assignment deadlines is more of a reminder that you should be having that touch point with your team, right? While you're working on your individual stuff, you need to remember that you also have a team that you are accountable to, and that you will be working in the next 2 assignments, your midterm and final assignments, as a team. And this weekly touch points, weekly interaction as a team is a part of that, right? So I know it's a bit tricky, but this is what it is in real life when you have your own personal tasks and duties and projects, and then you are part of different committees, you are different teams, different product teams, a lot of other different things. So we have here 2 tracks, your individual track in this course and your team track, right? For individual track, you have those snapshots, weekly reflective videos, your individual learning, personal learning, and this individual assignment as a part of it when we apply it to our individual context. But then for the team track, you have teamwork, team assignments on a weekly basis, at least once, to interact with your team after class. And they are not graded, right? Those teamwork is not graded, team assignments. It's more for in fostering that interaction, collaboration among each other, like among team members. That's my goal. They are not graded. They are not strict in terms of deadline. They are not like demanding. Don't overthink about those team assignments. You can just do a very rough draft of your client profile, even with the team charter that you can update later on. It's not a final document you submitted and you cannot touch. So you can always come back and work on those things. And they don't need to be perfect, again, because I'm not grading them for the content. I hope it's clear.
Thank you, Prashant.
Yeah, okay. If it's not, like, please don't be shy, ask questions. Like, you can reach out later on as well. But I think I'm pretty much straightforward. So always think of what's my goal right there, what's my expectation. So with team assignments, it's more for me to see that team interaction on hopefully weekly basis. That's it. Nothing graded, nothing strict. While individual ones, I need to be able to see your individual progress, your learning in this course as well. So in the very first class, I think this is what I explained, how to think about this course, right? The design of this course. Okay, any other questions or comments? If not, and some questions may come up later. I know it was a bit today overwhelming. Sorry about that, because I skipped that 1 week. We have 2-week content, but now we have finished that first bubble. And starting from the next week, we will be focusing on the next kind of core bubbles, I mean, in terms of the content, strategic choices and decisions that will prepare us for